Hello and welcome to the Expertly German podcast, the podcast to learn German.
Herzlichen willkommen zum Expertly German Podcast, dem Podcast zum Deutsch lernen. I can't
Yes,
do it like you do it.
perfect.
Sorry.
Well, it was pretty close.
I've wanted to do that every episode.
It's awesome. I think you should do the intro. I think you're better at this. Before we start with today's episode, please share this podcast with your friends. Click the follow button if you're listening on Spotify and the subscribe button on Apple Podcast. Please leave a review. I think that's easy to do on Apple Podcast. And the best way to help me, to help us to promote this podcast, to make it more popular, is to share it with your friends. So, Dankeschön. And so in today's lesson, we will talk about the German preposition auf. Just this one single preposition auf. Why? Because auf can have a lot of meanings. And so in the last lesson, we were talking about the two-way preposition. Do you remember the two-way prepositions? Because there are multiple ones.
There are multiple ones. I feel like there are around 10 or something.
How do I know again which, like, can you remember how I figure out which are the two-way preposition? I was thinking about the apple and the table thing. So
It's a really good question.
It's a really good question.
So my memory from the last lesson is that it was all a lot of them were all those like locational type things using to indicate a location of something.
Yes, I remember. I try to imagine an apple in relation to a table, and where can I put the apple?
Yeah, so you were giving like on and next to and
Exactly.
under and behind and in front.
Exactly. And one of those prepositions is auf. And again, what I didn't tell you is that auf, in terms of location, can have a lot of meanings. And we will go through those meanings today, or through those kind of like ways how you can also use auf. So the first usage of auf is on a surface, which kind of like is the one that we have already discussed. Can you maybe come up with a sentence about this?
So my German's pretty basic, so my examples are probably going to be basic. The cat sits on a stool. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Die Katze sitzt auf dem Stuhl.
Yes,
Check
exactly.
me out using my dative.
Oh yeah. Okay, and so auf dem Stuhl, you listeners, is also here the dative case. Hier haben wir den Dativfall. Warum haben wir den Dativfall? Why do we have the dative case? Because here there is no movement. Es gibt keine Bewegung. Die Katze sitzt auf dem Stuhl. Bedeutet einfach nur, dass die Katze sich nicht bewegt. Sie sitzt auf dem Stuhl, keine Bewegung, keine Veränderung, und deshalb verwenden wir hier den Dativfall. No movement, no change. That's why we are using the dative case.
Yeah.
So, and Stuhl is masculine, der Stuhl, and that changes then to dem.
Yes. If we talked about the cat jumping onto the stool, we could have also used auf, right? And
Exactly.
then we would have used the accusative den Stuhl instead. So we would have said die Katze. I remember this from last lesson. Die Katze springt auf den Stuhl.
Yes, exactly. Nice.
High five.
Yeah, high five.
Thank you.
Cool. So the next meaning.
So that's me jumping the gun, right? Because that was a second use of auf.
Actually, you are right. The one of the meanings is also onto, like jumping onto something, or no, sorry, not just jumping, just onto something. To me, as a German, on and onto, I don't think I ever use onto in English. Whenever I say the cat is jumping on the chair, I would just say die Katze
jumped on the chair.
Yeah, or jumps exactly like I just said. Yeah,
Yeah.
so no change there. But for you guys who, like, I don't know, are
Pedantic.
English native speakers,
We're known
the
for being
grammar
pedantic, so
nerds,
yeah.
yes. So
then
you can also use, so onto and on both is
auf.
used with the German preposition auf. Okay, the second one is on a side, and this is now interesting. So whenever you want to say a German sentence, wann auch immer du einen deutschen Satz sagen willst, wie auf der Seite, on a side, then we are also using the preposition auf. So what would be an example sentence?
I would like to say something about like, because I'm thinking on a side, like on the side of your face.
Ja?
So something like, how do you say freckle?
Sommersprossen.
Oh, I love that. Sommer.
Sprossen.
What does that mean? Summer.
It's sprouts. It literally
Summer
means summer
sprouts.
sprouts. Yeah.
Of course, that's how you say freckle. Okay, fine.
That tops,
Um,
I think, the Nile horse from last
the
time.
Nile horse.
Yeah.
Sorry, and you didn't give me the article, Lara.
What article? Oh, so Sommersprossen is plural. Die Sommersprossen.
Okay.
If it's one, then it's then it's feminine. Die Sommersprosse.
So would I say die Sommersprosse?
Ja,
That's a mouthful. Die Sommersprosse
ja.
ist auf der rechten Seite
Deines.
deines Gesichts. Interesting. Why is there like S's going on?
Yeah, there's an S because that's the genitive case. And
It's possessive because it's your face.
yes, that as well, but it's not because of the your. It's because of the of your face. And so, because das Gesicht is neutral, and when you have a masculine or a neutral noun, which you use for the genitive case, you have to put an S at the end of that noun. For example, der Tisch des Manns oder der Tisch des Mannes. You can either put an S or an ES at the end. So Mann is masculine, der Mann, and so that's kind of what you do. Anyway, we are focusing on auf. So what did you say?
Save that one for another lesson then. I was saying, so the freckle is on the right side of your face.
Exactly.
It's a
The
strange sentence.
freckle or freckles?
Sure, the freckles.
Okay. Die Sommersprossen sind auf der rechten Seite deines Gesichts. Yes, exactly. Beautiful. So if you say on a side, then we use the preposition auf. But it doesn't always have to be location. It can also be, let's say we play, I don't know, what do we play? We play a game, Monopoly or something like that. And I say, I'm on your side. Ich bin auf deiner Seite. So it doesn't have to be like that.
A physical side. It can also mean
Exactly. And I also can use the accusative case. I could also say, ich gehe auf die linke Seite. Yeah. So then die linke Seite is then accusative because there is movement and change. Because after all, auf is still a two-way preposition. Okay. So meaning number 3 is in the world. In the world, we would say auf der Welt. Also die dritte Bedeutung für auf wäre dann auf der Welt. For example, this sentence.
Okay, meine Schwester ist die beste Person auf der Welt. I
Yes.
hope she's listening to this.
Probably.
Jess, if you weren't listening to this, my sister is the best person in the world. That's out there now for the whole world to hear it.
Awesome. So, yeah, exactly. Meine Schwester ist die beste Person auf der Welt. So, Welt is feminine. Why, again, do I then say der Welt here? Do you have an idea?
So feminine would change to der in dative.
Exactly. And
No
that's
movement.
what we do. Yeah. So I would say I can't think of an example where we don't use the dative. So I would say we almost all the time we would say in the world with the case dative auf der Welt.
Because that's really like then the norm that you would use the dative case when
Yeah.
you're using the word auf.
Yeah.
But it's only, like you said, if something is actively changing its location from A to B, like the
Exactly.
cat jumping on the stool.
Exactly.
Okay.
But there is no movement here.
So let me just recap before we do some more.
Sure.
We've done like auf, so on a surface, on a side, something jumping onto something.
Yeah.
And something in the world.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Awesome.
we've done 4 so far. Cool. How many more are there?
And then we have the next one is a picture, in a picture. So when I want to say auf einem Bild, then I would also use the preposition auf. Dann verwende ich auch die Präposition auf. Zum Beispiel dieser Satz.
So I could just, keep on this vein of sisterhood and get some bonus points later. Meine Schwester ist auf dem Bild.
Yes, exactly.
My sister is in the picture.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot a picture and you want to show someone, this is my sister in the picture, das ist meine Schwester auf dem Bild. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You could say that. So when you use something like that, you could, for example, also say my signature is in the picture. I don't know, like when you're an artist or something like that.
This seems really specific, but like, is this also for things like if it's, I don't know, in the book or in the film, or like is it just in the picture?
Yes, just in the picture. Yes.
What would you say if you were saying like my sister's in the film or my sister's in the book?
Good question. Then you would say use the preposition in.
Interesting. So it really is just like.
Yeah. So I think actually next time we do an episode on the preposition in, because that's also one of those prepositions that has a lot of meanings.
Could you also use the preposition in for meine Schwester ist in der Picture?
Nee.
Or in picture. Okay.
Then
in build, not in picture.
Bild. No, we would use the preposition auf.
Okay. Yeah. Helpful.
Cool. The next one is at an event. So here it doesn't have to be like it can also, instead of the event, it has to be something event like a concert, for example. Wedding? Yes, a wedding as well. Yeah. So can you think of an example sentence?
Well, I don't know how you say wedding actually.
Die Hochzeit.
Hochzeit.
Yeah, that's a funny word. So again, remembering the Nile horse, we combine existing words, and in German, when you're marrying, that is the high time.
A wedding is a high time.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
To be fair, I don't know why the English one is like to be wedding.
I don't know.
It's a wedding. It's a like
done on Wednesdays.
You're wedding two people together.
Oh yeah.
You're merging them. I
don't
know. Someone's going to start commenting about the correctness of the English.
Write comments on that, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so wir sind auf would it be eine Hochzeit? You didn't mention the article.
Die Hochzeit, so it's feminine.
Okay, eine Hochzeit. Wir sind auf eine Hochzeit.
Einer with an R.
Because it's dative again is the basis.
Yes. Yeah. Where are you? You're on a wedding. At a wedding, kind of like at the wedding. Ja, ich bin auf einer Hochzeit. Ja, oder wir gehen auf die Hochzeit. So, or using another example, die Veranstaltung is literally the event. So, for example, we could also say, wir sind auf einer Veranstaltung mit vielen Menschen. Maybe not in times of Corona, but in general, that would mean we are at an event. Literally, die Veranstaltung is the event with many people. You could also, instead of event, maybe say das Konzert. Wir sind auf einem Konzert. We are at a concert. Yeah. Cool. And the next one is at work. Yes, at work we also use the preposition auf. Also hier verwenden wir auch die Präposition auf. Can you think of an example sentence?
Well, okay, so I would normally just say I'm at work in English, right? So ich bin, my assumption would be ich bin auf Arbeit.
Yes, you can, exactly. You don't have to say the article. You can just say ich bin auf Arbeit. Du brauchst nicht unbedingt das Artikel verwenden. Ja, korrekt, richtig. Einfach. Simple. Correct. But you can also say auf der Arbeit habe ich nette Kollegen.
Well, everyone's going to say that when they're on a microphone.
Yeah. Auf der Arbeit habe ich schreckliche Kollegen.
Nee.
All right.
Sorry, I used the Berlin no there. So, yeah.
We should do a podcast episode on the Berlin accent.
Well, I don't know lots. I just know, what's that rhyme that Icke
did the Kicker mal.
Yeah.
Icke did the Kicker mal. Yes. All right. So at some point we do a podcast episode on the German accent. Okay. And then the last meaning, at least the last meaning that kind of I have here on my list, is at the station. And here it's most of the time kind of like the train station. So auf dem Bahnhof, for example. And can you think of a sentence?
Ich treffe dich später auf dem Bahnhof.
Ja, ich treffe dich später auf dem Bahnhof. What does it mean?
I meet you later at the train station.
Yes, exactly. I meet you later at the train station. And here also, where do I meet you? Dative. So that's why dem Bahnhof. Bahnhof is masculine. Do you want to summarize quickly the meanings of auf?
I will do my best. Okay, so we talked about, I guess you kind of group them into like, I guess three areas: on, in, and at. So we had uh, the cat sits on the stool. We had the the I can't even say it anymore. The freckle on the side of your face, so on a side, on a surface. And we had the cat jumps onto the stool. So those were the three different examples that we had on on. Then you give a couple of examples for in, and they're very specific examples. It turns out, in the world, in a picture, or in an event. But that can be any
Sorry,
kind of an event.
at an event, not in an
Oh,
event.
sorry. In the world, in a picture.
Yeah,
Very specific. In a picture cannot be in a movie. Cannot be in the woods. These ins are just those two contexts from the
exactly.
examples you gave. Then there were three examples for at
Yeah,
using ALF. These seem to be a little bit more wider and not as specific. Like an event could be a wedding or a concert or like anything event wise. Work and station.
yes.
I think that was it.
Cool.
On, in, and at.
Yes, so those are many meanings for the preposition auf. I know this is difficult, but I felt like I wanted to do this episode because, well, we talked about the preposition auf, but then I have some clients who kind of like discover that prepositions have multiple meanings than the first obvious meaning that I usually give people in the first lesson. And if you're living in Germany or you kind of have to speak German on a regular basis, you will discover how important the prepositions are. And I hope this helps you guys to kind of like figure out at least this specific preposition more. We will do some more preposition at a later episode. You can download also the transcript or kind of like the PDF document for this episode at buymeacoffee.com /expertly German. And you will find also some more material there. You can also join the membership and you get all the material for free. And also go to my website, expertlygerman.com. You will find a lot more stuff there that I offer courses and one-on-one sessions and so on. Thank you very much. Vielen herzlichen Dank, dass ihr zugehört habt und bis zum nächsten Mal.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I said that right.